Well, hey, folks, it's been a week. A week since Major League Baseball announced that we have a new career batting average leader, and that's Josh Gibson of the Memphis Red Sox, the Pittsburgh Crawfords, and the Homestead Grays, who also played in Pittsburgh. This has come with a little bit of controversy, of course, right? There's lots of people who say, oh, well, we shouldn't count Negro League statistics as being part of the Major League Baseball statistics database. I happen to think that that's hokum, among other things because these dudes weren't actually allowed to play in Major League Baseball, so we don't know how they would have fared against American League and National League stars. Josh Gibson died in 1946 before he would have been able to break the color barrier, but there's a pretty strong likelihood, honestly, that he was a better player than Jackie Robinson, who did break the color barrier in 1947. Now, those arguments are being hashed and rehashed on the internet, and quite frankly, I don't ever want to be a part of them. It's not my job to gatekeep whether somebody is a Major League Baseball player or even a Major League Baseball quality player, because quite frankly, every single one of them is a better player than me. But I do want to talk about some of Josh Gibson's baseball cards, which have seen a surge in value since the announcement was made that he was the new career batting leader. Among recent cards, I think probably the most beautiful cards are these two up here. These are Bowman Chrome Draft cards issued in 2023. I've got the orange and the gold parallel up here. Both of them have seen an increase in value in the last week since the announcement was made, and I think that's fair. They're beautiful cards. They really highlight Josh's, it's a great card. Like, you just look at the damn things. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous. There are some also recent cards that have been released that are significantly more achievable than an out of 25 or out of 50 parallel from a pretty limited print run set like Bowman Chrome Draft. Allen and Ginter has released several Josh Gibson cards. They're popping up here on your screen right now. In 2014, Panini Golden Age, which is frankly one of my favorite niche sets that Panini has released, also released a Josh Gibson card. It's gorgeous here with the orange and the blue trim on the card. In 2005, Topps announced that they were entering into a 2-year deal with the Gibson family to slice up one of only 2 known game-used Josh Gibson bats. This caused controversy as well, and controversy apparently follows the poor guy. The reason is because it was one of only 2 bats like it known to exist, and Topps was slicing it on a plane to stick it into baseball cards. They put it in Topps Sterling in 2006. They put it in Bowman in 2005. They're also, frankly, very pretty cards. And you know, insofar as it's possible to be respectful when destroying a priceless historical relic, Topps seems to have done a pretty decent job with these 2 releases. Among modern cards, the first Gibson card that was released was 1974 Laughlin's Black Stars. That's this guy right here. It's not a particularly attractive card, right? Like, it's line art, it's a little caricature-ish. I don't know how much like Josh Gibson it actually looks like to me. It strikes me as being sort of just a generic black dude in catcher's gear, but it's out there. These cards go for a pretty decent sum of money, depending on their condition, anywhere between $400 and $1,000. They're not super liquid, so we haven't seen a lot of movement in the card market for them yet, but they're out there. If you're a true Josh Gibson collector, if you're a true Negro League Stars collector, this may be a card that you already own or that you should consider buying. In the 1950s, there was a card produced for Josh Gibson by a company named Toleteros. This is the 1950 to 51 Toleteros card. This is considered the Black Wagner. It's a cigarette card, right? So it's an 1 1/4 by 2 1/2, or 1 1/4 by 2 1/4. It's not a big card, but it is absolutely gorgeous. It's full color. This is an exceptionally rare card. True Josh Gibson collectors, true Negro Leagues and Puerto Rican League collectors are probably searching for this card right now and have been for the last couple of weeks. The first Josh Gibson cards that were released when he was still playing. He came into the Negro Leagues in 1930 with the Memphis Red Sox, and he moved on to the Pittsburgh Grays and the Pittsburgh Crawfords and the Homestead Grays. In 1930, 31, and 32, there were some cards released, some Grays cards released that featured Josh Gibson as a member of the team set. Now, look, I'm never going to tell you that a card is an investment. I don't like the idea of treating sports cards as investments. I don't like the idea of buying them, holding them, flipping them, turning them over for money simply because you want to look at them as an alternative asset and, you know, in the same vein as you're looking at property or you're looking at securities. But for collectors, these are must-have cards. Josh Gibson, suddenly the Major League Baseball leader. He's seen a surge in value in his cards over the last couple of years, last couple of days rather, both for his limited print run cards like these Bowmans, or even some general cards. You're still seeing some of them go up in, from $1 to $2. But there are plenty of accessible Josh Gibson cards as well. I mentioned Allen Ginter. I mentioned Panini Golden Age. These cards are out there. They exist. And, if you're a collector, maybe they're worth chasing down. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.